7 of my favorite TV shows of all time. Take one. Give me a second. I gotta get this thing here situated. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna keep that in. That should be better. I know you don't know what time it is, but as you can see, it's almost time for bed. And what's more wonderful before bed than a TV show? Your favorite TV show at that. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say, I can only imagine how hard it is to get your own TV show on a network. I know the process has got to be brutal, but when you break through all the bullshit and you finally get something that you created, I know that feeling alone must be rewarded. Millions of TV shows exist, but some, if you can believe it or not, don't get the recognition they deserve. Sure, you got The Wire for its storytelling and its great connections in the drug organization. You have South Park for its longevity and ability to be able to keep up with current events. And you have Game of Thrones for the thrones and the games that they play together. I never watched it. But today I want to talk about 7 TV shows that I think that if they are not perfect, they are right there at the cusp. Let's get into it. The first show I gotta talk about is Orange is the New Black. Now, for obvious reasons, this show is a lot of people's favorite. It used to sweep the Emmys when it was coming on back between like 2013 and 2019, I think it was. It was based on a true story about a woman named Piper Kerman, who was Piper Chapman in the show. And then when she gets to prison, I think the most interesting thing about the show is while she was the main character of the show, it felt more like an ensemble because everybody in the prison had their own backstories. It was almost like each episode was dedicated to each of the prisoners that were in there that had a story. Whether you seen them before or whether you didn't see them before, they had a backstory and their episode was coming up, you know? I really feel like this TV show had everything in it. I know within a lot of categories when it was getting nominated for awards, it was like boxing it in with comedy, but that's one of the darkest comedies I've ever seen because that show had everything in it. There was comedy with the moments where they was like running around chasing a chicken, or that feel good moment when they got to break out and got to play in the water a little bit. They got punished for that, but they had that one little moment of joy where they got to splash around in the lake like little kids. It was very suspenseful at times too. I know for a fact season 2 was off the hinges. I loved every second of season 2. If you watched the show before, you gotta remember V. You can't forget V. V was fucking crazy, but I loved it. Not to mention, I know they were all like playing prisoners or whatever, but these were some fine ass women in this TV show. Like, I can go through a list right now. Danielle Brooks off rip. Honestly, like, I can go into them. I just can't remember their names right now. I know it was Tasty. Poussey was even fine as Poussey fine as fuck. I know she like girl. I know she a little boy. But still, she pretty as hell. But everything from that TV show just came together all in a perfect ending. There were so many beautiful moments in it. There were so many sad moments. There were so many funny moments, so many suspenseful moments. And it was a perfect balance of everything. And probably the experience that a lot of people in America get when they're in federal prison. So that's why Orange is the New Black is on this list. Up next, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love this show personally, and I honestly don't think a lot of people agree with me because when I talk about it, they just be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll check it out. But they never really do. Up next is The Carmichael Show. The Carmichael Show aired in 2015 on NBC, and it lasted for 3 seasons. It takes place in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's just about a Southern black family who's just going through shit and dealing with all the changes of the world that's going on right now. To me, it's like a mixture of Bill Cosby Show and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's like a perfect mixture of the two. You never see anybody go to work, but you know everybody got jobs. Mom and dad are like super stuck in their ways. Gerard Carmichael, who's like the writer, of course, and creator of the show, from North Carolina as well. He's engaged to a girl who's like super activist and like, you know, mental health, and she's very like millennial, you know what I mean? And his parents are very like, nah, fuck that bullshit. This is not how we deal with it. And while Gerard is the midpoint that kind of like keeps the peace in the place, they tend to lean towards what he says because, of course, it's his show and he wrote it. But the explanation that he gives is very logical. You know what I mean? So I think that is what the show is really about. It's like having a balance between like people who just don't want to change and people who are all about the change going on in the world. You know what I mean? It's like a happy medium. He's like a happy medium. The show could have definitely been called Happy Medium. The TV show is super fucking hilarious. It's 3 seasons. Each episode is my favorite. Honestly, it's extremely funny, and I think it's on Hulu. If you get a moment and you want to check out a comedy sitcom that's like up to date and doesn't really feel like it's like taking place in the early 2000s, like The Neighbors, I don't know, I fucking hate that shit, then definitely check it out. And that's number 2. Next up on my list is gonna have to be Living Single. Now, I don't know if you ever heard of this show or you've seen this show before, but it's about 6 black friends living in a New York City apartment, and they're very successful at their own businesses and doing what it is that they do, and they just get into different antics, you know, stuff that mid 20-year-olds get into when they're living on their own and they're trying to find their footing and figure out where they are in the dating world and all that kind of stuff. The show came out in 1992, but I can watch it today in 2024 and see so many comparisons of things that are actually going on right now. Like, aside from the social media and all that kind of stuff, it's still the same basic stuff that everybody deals with in their mid-20s, early 30s every single day. It was a very successful TV show. It came on Fox and everybody loved it. It was one of the most popular shows in the 90s, so much that it got canceled, I think, in like 96 or 94 or something like that, and then it came back in 96 for 2 more seasons. That's how popular that show was. There were new topics every single week, but it also had like running story as well. Like, it was, to me, the show was wonderfully written. Maybe somebody will make a show like Living Single one of these days. You know, about 6 friends living in New York City apartments, being successful at their jobs, getting into antics that people get into when they're mid-20s, early 30s. I mean, they take everything else from us, right? Up next is actually a show that I'm currently in the middle of watching right now. I just started season 2, and it's 3 seasons of this as well. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing with 3-season TV shows that I like. I don't know. We'll see. Up next is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, all throughout college, I had people telling me that Avatar: The Last Airbender was probably the best written cartoon of all time. And I was like, that sounds ridiculous. The show came out in 2005. They've been making cartoons since 1940 something the fuck. That's the greatest cartoon of all time? All right, fuck it. I'll watch it. I just started watching this show like maybe last week, and I just started watching this show like last week, and I'm already on season 2. I love this show because even though it is a cartoon, it has so much backstory to it. It has so much story to it that the theme song, when it first comes on, is not even a theme song. It's giving you backstory. That's how much backstory is in this fucking show. And it's wonderful. It gives you everything within the period of time that it has. It's like 24 minutes, bet. You get everything. You don't get no extra overdrawn visuals. You don't get no stupid monologues for no reason at all. Every piece of dialogue, from what I've seen, is very important to the story and what's happening in the overarching scheme of this cartoon, because there are some comedic moments too, and you don't really need those, but it's a cartoon, so you still want to keep it comedic. And I'm not gonna lie, it come at great times. It's pretty funny jokes, and when it's time to get serious, it's all serious. It's no fucking games. It's let's get to it. It's let's get rowdy, nigga. If you don't know much about the show, I encourage you to watch it. I really do. I don't want to tell you much, but it's just so much. But it's not a whole lot, so I guess I can tell you. It's a lot, but I'm gonna keep it short. So there's this boy named Aang who was frozen in a iceberg for like 100 years, and he is the last airbender, which means that the last airbender is the Avatar who could save the world from the Fire Nation. That's it, man. I mean, like, I didn't do it no justice, but it really is one of the best cartoons ever, and that's why I'm putting it in one of the best TV shows ever, because I have been locked into a cartoon in years. Like, I'm a grown-ass man. I haven't been locked into cartoons in forever. That show is fucking great. So that's why it's on this list. I've been filming for 20 minutes, but I gotta keep this shit going. Next up, we got Shameless, that came out on Showtime in 2011. This show was originally in Britain or something like that. That's where the original story came from. But then they started production in 2011 in America for Showtime, and the show was phenomenal. This TV show is one of the wildest TV shows I have ever seen ever. Every single episode, they get into something crazy, and you're like, how the fuck are they gonna get out of this? How the fuck is this person gonna get out of this? Sometimes they would all have different stories that they were going on, because it starts off, let me just back up. So the show is about a family growing up on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. The father, his name is Frank Gallagher, and he is a motherfucker. The mom is named Monica, but we never see Monica. Monica left a long time ago. Frank is a drunk, which means the oldest daughter, Fiona, who's 21 years old, has to take care of 5 other kids by herself while her father comes home throwing up in the floor and falling asleep in the laundry room. I know it sounds terrible, but the show is so goddamn great. I encourage anyone to watch this. It's comedic, it has drama, it has very intense moments. moments, and it can get very sad at times. It's a comedy, but not only for the stuff that happens in the show. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a comedy for the running gag. One of the running gags I can tell you about that you pretty much learn from the first season. They're a white family. All of them are white, but there's one black baby, and he is definitely a part of the family. He starts to grow up and realizes some differences between them, but yeah, he's there from birth. A whole black baby, not like a half black, half white. No, this is a black baby with nigga skin, nigga hair. It's 11 seasons long. If you like long TV shows, this is perfect for you. Each episode is like 50 to 60 minutes. And also, watch out for Kevin V. Don't watch this around your kids. There's a lot of sex in it. But there's so much that happens in this goddamn TV show. I can't tell you anything. If you are interested in watching this wild and crazy fucking TV show, I encourage you to go watch it immediately. I don't know where you can find it. It might be on Paramount Plus or Netflix. Well, I almost say FedEx. I almost said FedEx. I promise you I ain't been drinking. All right, this next one is a cartoon. And this is one cartoon I think everybody loves, Rick and Morty. This cartoon came out in 2013, but I didn't start watching it until like 2017, 2018. Out the gate, from the very first episode, they get right into it. No bullshit. Marty is sleeping on the bed. His grandfather, Rick, walks in drunk, stumbling like, you gotta come with me, bro. You gotta come here. You awake, Morty? You gotta come with me, bro. You gotta come with me. So he goes with him, and they're riding around in space at 3 o'clock in the morning, going on an adventure. And you're like, what's this adventure about? Listen to me. If you have not watched this show, each and every single adventure is fucking insane. That first season is unmatched to me. Like, they got better every season. Season 1, season 2, season 3, they just got better every time. But season 1 was like, we know where we're going. We know how crazy we want to make this shit out to be. I can't remember the name of the episode. I want to say it was the episode where they were in a simulation, in a simulation, in a simulation. That one drove my fucking mind insane. And I was in college at that time, so I was a little high, but that was a great episode for me. The adventures are intense. Rick has this portal gun that takes them pretty much to any dimension that they want to go to. The A plot, of course, is Rick and Morty going on crazy adventure. The B plot, however, is the rest of the family going through actual shit that people go through. Morty's parents getting a divorce. Some are going through body dysmorphia situations. There's this one episode where they go on like an adventure for 6 days straight and they barely make it out of it, and they're like distraught. They're pretty like traumatized by the experience, and they go to a massage parlor, and like all of the bad things about them are left in one dimension and all the good things came back with them, so they became great versions of themselves. The show is super vulgar. There is like so much cursing and so much crazy nonsense that goes on in the show. Do not watch it with your kids, straight up. It's a cartoon, but leave them motherfuckers in bed. A lot of people's favorite episode is the obvious, and I don't need to say it. However, my favorite episode is 2, because I think they kind of go into each other. The season 2 finale and the season 3 premiere. Those 2 episodes are fucking perfect to me. And yes, of course, Pickle Rick too. Everybody loves Pickle Rick. Alright, I've been filming almost 30 minutes now, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. No, I'm not. I'm lying. This last one that I'm getting ready to talk about is a TV show that I have not watched in a while, but it is a show that has a fantastic story, will keep you captivated the entire time, and my favorite, it's an hour long. I am talking about How to Get Away with Murder. If you have never watched this TV show and you like intense crime dramas in a way, if you like Law and Order and Scandal, you will love How to Get Away with Murder. The show is about a defense attorney who also is a law school teacher. So she has a class that like 40 kids signed up for, but only like 6 or 7 are the people who can make it in the class for her. So when you walk in her classroom, which is the auditorium or whatever, you are competing with 40 other people to try and be a part of her class or who she's gonna teach. And the shit that she is teaching is gonna be life changing. There is murder, there is fighting, there is cheating, there is alcohol, there is car wrecks, there are babies, there are deaths, there are everything in this TV show called How to Get Away with Murder. There are police officers, but just to let you know how intense How to Get Away with Murder is, about a show about murder, when the police officers show up, nobody, and I mean nobody, gives a fuck, because we are lawyers and we are perfect at lying. And that's why that show is so good. It's super intense. It makes you feel like something's getting ready to happen, but you also have the confidence that they're smarter than whoever it is they're talking to, and they're probably already a step ahead of them. But that can be on the good side, and it could also be on the bad side. There are plot twists and turns in this TV show that I can't even imagine to begin telling you right now. That's how crazy this show is. I believe it started airing in 2014 on ABC. For a very long time, I never missed an episode. But once I started diving into my major when I was in school, I missed a few episodes. I can't remember how it ended, but I know it did end. Like, it didn't just get canceled. It had an ending. It went off. It was one of the best shows to ever come on TV, and I am willing to stand on that. I'm willing to die on that mountain. I am not kidding. How to Get Away with Murder is how I'm gonna end this list. So there you have it. Now, I've been filming for 30 minutes, but I'm happy that I'm actually able to bring you my 7 favorite TV shows of all time. Now, that's not all of them. That's just the 7 that I picked from a hat that I love. Because like I said earlier, there are millions of TV shows out there that just don't get the recognition. And there are some that you may have forgotten about that are really good shows. But this is just one video. I may do another one of these soon. And if your favorite TV show didn't pop up, then go ahead and leave a comment. You can even like it if you like this video. And if you want to see more of me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This has been An Evening with Cali, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Ciao. Ain't no hat. Ciao.